Guys, and welcome back to Python programming. It's nice to see you guys. I hope you enjoyed the first lesson about print statements and variables. Hope you learned a lot. And today we're back with our second lesson of learning Python, strings and lists. Well, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like our videos for more quality Python programming. Don't forget, Python is for everyone. Everyone can become a programmer, even you. Well, let's get into the lesson. Strings. Strings can be put into variables, such as the variable name, say Ali Alien, print name. We created a variable called name and called it Ali Alien, and now we're going to print that variable. When you run our code, it prints Ali Alien. That's pretty much review from our previous lesson. Strings must always have a quotation mark at the beginning and the end. Don't forget that. Otherwise the string is not going to work. We can also combine strings. We can make another variable here called greeting, and we can make our greeting called welcome to Earth. We can make another variable called message, which will combine our greeting plus our name, or two variables, name and greeting, which we're going to combine, and it's going to create a new variable called message. Well, if we print our variable called message, you'll see, let's run our code. It says, welcome to Earth, Ali Alien. It took this first part, which is our greeting, and it also took our second part and combined them together. See, welcome to Earth and Ali Alien. Hope that all makes sense. Variables can become really useful when you combine them to make new variables. If you add two strings together, you can store the combination in a new variable, just as we did above. You can also use a handy trick called len, parentheses. You can use len to count the number of characters in a string, including the spaces. The command len is an example of what coders call a function. You'll use a lot of functions when you first learn to program. To find out how many characters there are in Welcome to Earth, Ali Alien, you can type the line len and our variable message, and if we run that code, one sec. It prints, welcome to Earth, Ali Alien. Next, let's learn about lists. You can also make multiple variables. Imagine you're writing a multiplayer game and you want to store the names of the players in each team. You could create a variable for each player, which might look like this. Say the team name is called Rockets. Rockets underscore 1 could be Rockets underscore player underscore 1 could be one variable. And we could say his name is Rory. We can have a Rockets underscore player 2. Oh, remember guys, one thing. In Python, you have to make an underscore for all your spaces. Otherwise, the computer simply doesn't know what the space is and will not read your code properly. So don't forget your underscores. Rockets player 3. Okay. Let's name Rachel. Okay, that should be good. But don't forget your quotation marks, guys. Very, very important. And with 3 players on your first team called Rockets, you need 3 variables. Let's make our next team called Planets. Or 1, because it's now a different team. Say Peter. Let's name this person Pablo. And our third planet's player, let's name him Polly. Okay, so as you can see, we have two teams with 3 players each with 3 variables. Rockets players, 1, 2, and 3, Rory, Rob, and Rachel. And we have our second team, 3 variables, Planet's team, called Peter, Pablo, and Polly. Hope that all makes sense. We can also put our list, we can put a list in a variable. But what if there were 6 players per team? It would be very difficult updating so many variables. It would be better to use a list. To create a list, you surround the items you want to store with square brackets. I'll show you now. We can call the Rockets players. See, we have to use brackets, not parentheses. Remember that. So the first player we have Rory, Rob, Rachel. And let's add a 4th player called Pat. Pat there. Okay. Next, let's do our other team. Planet underscore players. Brackets, don't forget that. We had Peter, Pablo, Polly. Oh, I forgot quotation marks. Polly. And let's add a 4th player. Let's name him Steve. Okay, now that we have our 2 lists, let's move on. The list items, they have to be separated by commas. And each item in the list needs to be followed by quotation marks. Don't forget that. This first list is storing all the players on the Team Rockets, and the second list is storing all the players on Team Planets. Next, we can also get items from our list. For example, we can take once your data is in your list, it's easy to work with. To get an item out of a list, first type the name of the list, then add the item's positions in the list, putting it inside square brackets. Be careful though, Python starts counting list items from 0 rather than 1. Let's take a player out of Team Rockets. If we want to take Rory, we would have to take item 0. We would have to take item 0. Remember, not 1, because Python starts reading the code as 0. So if we print that, print Rory. Coffee. Yeah, I can talk. So guys, if you print, you have to put the print before the parentheses of Rockets players because you want to pick a player from that. And since we want to get Rory, we will have to do 0. We'll have to pick 0 because Python reads the code starting from 0. Now if we run our code, you can see it prints Rory. The computer read that Rockets player, the variable, player 0 is Rory, and printed our code. Now let's try Planets players. If we try Planets players, and we pick player, we want to pick Polly. That's player 0, 1, 2. That's player 2. So player 2, if we run our code, it prints Polly. That proves that the Python read the code, player 0, 1, 2, and printed out Polly. As you can see, that's how strings and lists work, and that's how the computer read the code and printed out the player. thank you guys for today's lesson about strings and lists. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something today. We'll have lesson 3 coming out very soon. Don't worry. And remember, guys, every Saturday we have live lessons where you guys can ask questions and get help. I'll answer you as quickly as I can. Oh, till then, until lesson 3. Lesson 3, we'll be learning about booleans and almost making our first game. And we'll also learn about conditions. Thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video for more quality Python programming. Thank you guys.